Okay, you notice that the machine has recovered 0.09 pounds of refrigerant in the system. 1/10 of a pound. The system's almost empty because all of the pressures are getting towards zero. Now it's gone into a vacuum. We have roughly 4.5 minutes left. So we're going to wait until it removes any residual refrigerant from the system, and we're going to see what the end amount was. It's draining the oil that we pulled out. Down on the bottom of the machine is our little crusty oil container. That container is the one that gathers the oil that came out when you did your recovery. Draining oil, please wait. Even though these machines are automatic, it still takes a lot of time to go through the processes. But you could not do the work without one. Okay, now you see it. The recovered amount was 0.39 pounds. So that's basically a little less than half a pound. The car holds 27 ounces. And that's how it's listed on the decal under the hood. You'll see here the charge level is 27 ounces or 0.77 kilograms, whichever one you want to go by. We're going to go by ounces. How many ounces is that? So basically you've got 0.4 pounds is going to be around 7 ounces. How many does the car take? The car takes 27 ounces. So we're 20 ounces short. So that means, to you and I, it means that the car was 20 ounces short. That's 1 pound and 4 ounces short from what it should have been. Now, I said that you could not tell how much refrigerant was in the car by simply hooking gauges up to it. There's no way you can take readings to determine how much refrigerant's in the car. This is the only way to do it. So, it's no wonder that this car was not operating the way it should. All right, now we've got to determine what's going on with this car. Let's just talk common sense for a moment. We're assuming this car has not been worked on. Nothing's been done to the air conditioner. We're assuming that there was just a slow leak in the system. Why do we think it was a slow leak? Well, it still had refrigerant in it. This system drains out in about, with a gaping hole, if the line was to break, it would drain out in about 5 seconds or so. I've never timed one, but it would only take just a few seconds. So if you have a large leak, then obviously overnight everything's going to be gone. Even a medium leak is overnight the system's going to be empty. So this car has probably been sitting a year. Who knows the last time the AC was worked on or even tested. So we have to assume that it's going to be a really small leak. Here's what I want you to think about. When do you evacuate the system? So if this car had not been worked on, it still had refrigerant in the system, that would mean that there was no air in the system, which means there's no moisture in the system. So really, I'm not going to have to do but just a very short evacuation if I want to recharge this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the evacuation process, or vacuum as they call it. Well, no, we're not going to fill the tank. Most machines will not pull a vacuum if there's pressure in the system. It'll recognize any pressure and it'll fail to run. It'll give you a message saying that you've got to remove any pressure before you can charge it. So I can determine what I want here, how many minutes. So I'm going to, 0 is going to be my first one, and then I'm going to go 1 minute to evacuate the system and hit start. Do I want to leak test? Should I leak test or not? That's the question. Well, we know it had a leak. So really, at this point, what we need to do is find the leak. And what we'll do is we will use the machine to help us expedite this process. Let's go ahead and get the, we're going to select no. It's going to pull a vacuum for 1 minute. Notice I'm already down to about 23 or 4 inches of mercury. Getting close to 28 or 29 inches of mercury. And again, we'll never reach that 30 mark because 30 is perfect vacuum. Looks like we're going to end up about 28 or 29. "20 seconds remaining. All right, our vacuum has completed, and we're going to look down here. We're going to check our container to see how much oil we extracted. So we got, if I can get my eyes right, ounces. We got basically a ½ ounce of oil. There you go, ½ ounce oil right there. All right, so what we're going to do is, I'll just put this back on here. Make sure it snaps in good. All right, now it comes to the point in time where we want to fill the car with refrigerant. And it says the vacuum's complete, any key exits. So I'll push the key. All right, now we want to inject oil. You'll notice I have a vacuum on here. So this next step is going to replace that oil that came out during the recovery process. So inject oil, and what we're going to do is we're going to watch right here on the side. We're going to take it right down to, I'm looking at ounces, you can't see that. So I've got roughly 7.5 ounces, and I'm going to take the level down to about 7 ounces. Now I want you to notice something about my oil. We use ester oil. Ester oil for 134 systems is great oil. It is relatively inexpensive, but also you can buy it. It has a dye in it, and you'll see this bright yellow color here, the oil inside the bottle. And that dye, you've already watched videos. That dye, when it leaks out, it will leave a residue behind where you can put on your special yellow glasses. You can take a black light and it will glow, so you can find out the point of leak. So let's hit the inject oil button. It's checking pressures. It says to press and hold to inject oil. Watch bottle level and hit stop to exit.